It is, as announced, it's my birthday today, and before I told Ram Tulsi Prabhu, why don't you give this to MahaPrem Prabhu? And then he told me he's in India, and I'm like, oh damn it, I have to give collection. But if MahaPrem Prabhu was here, it would be my honor to sit there and listen to him, because especially on your birthday, it's really important to listen to senior Vaishnavas for your own guidance. Especially when it's your birthday, it's important to introspect, reflect, and accept where you are. Listen from other Vaishnavas, get their blessings. So like my father said, we tried reaching out to MahaPrem Prabhu, couldn't get a hold of him, but we'd also like to keep him in our prayers as well. Hare Krishna. So we'll just quickly sing Jai Radha Madhava. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Because of time, we'll all chant together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadapi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Papadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Bhagavatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Before I start, we'd like to ask for forgiveness if I say anything that is not on topic or that's not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. I'd like to ask for everyone's blessings before I start lecture. So today's Bhagavad Gita verse is it's text 10, chapter 12. So please repeat after me. Abhyasya pi asamartoshi Mat karma paramo bhava Mad artam api karmani Kurvan siddhim avapsyashi. Any problems, please?
Abhyasya samathosi Matkarma paramo bhava Madharmamapi karmani Kurvan siddhi avapyasi.
Any Matajis?
Abhyasya samathosi
Matkarma paramo bhava
Matkarma paramo bhava
Mad artham api karmani
Madharmamapi karmani
Kurvan siddhi avapyasi.
Kurvan siddhi avapyasi.
Abhyasya in practice. Api even if. Asamartaha unable. Asi you are. Madkarma my work. Paramaha dedicated to. Bhava become. Mat artam for my sake. Api even. Karmani work. Kurvan performing. Siddhim perfection. Avapsyashi you will achieve. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Also, before we start studying Srila Prabhupada's work, we'd like to ask for His Grace Murlivadar Prabhu, senior Prabhupada disciple. We'd like to ask for his blessings. And I'm not ready for your questions, Prabhu, after lecture. putting that out there before I start. The translation: if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Purport. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master can still be drawn to this perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. What is the perfectional stage? Prema, Krishna Prema. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So, thank you everyone once again for coming. This is actually this verse reminded me of the verse that I spoke on last time. Because last time I gave lecture, the topic was also quite similar. It was about the different stages of devotional service and the different levels that one can take in order to achieve Krishna Prema, and one can take on to come closer to Krishna. And we talked about direct activities. When I say Krishna conscious direct activities, I mean activities that are directly related to Krishna consciousness, such as chanting His holy name, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the literary incarnation of Krishna, worshipping His deity, the Krishna, Radha Krishna Gurnitai deity itself. And there are indirect activities, which means activities that don't necessarily have to be connected to Krishna, but you can connect to Krishna. For example, like Srila Prabhupada was mentioning here, in the translation, if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So sometimes a newcomer, when they come into Krishna consciousness, they may not be able to fully grasp, understand the process that Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is giving in Nectar of Instructions. Rupa Goswami is the direct disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who you see on the altar, and he is given a book called Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu and Upadesha Amrit. And in this book, these two books, Srila Prabhupada actually says these two books are the law books of ISKCON. One of them, Instruction or Devotion, but basically the content you will find, by following that content, it is actually the law by which a devotee should abide his sadhana. It is a law that the devotee should follow. So, in that book, Rupa Goswami mentions 64 such activities by which one can take up and serve Krishna, offering obeisances to the spiritual master, offering obeisances to Krishna, taking up a spiritual master, honoring Krishna Prasad, and etc., etc. There's so many. But then there's also other activities that are not mentioned in those, that some random person, someone who's not in Krishna consciousness, he already does, such as, he goes to work, he gets his money, with that money he may buy land, he may have his own business, he may use it for his own sense gratification. And basically, we're basically talking about regular karmis who engage in sense gratification. But, so in that picture, there's no sense of Krishna, obviously. Somebody who's completely into sense gratification, there's no question of Krishna. But when one gets into bhakti, it may be tough for somebody to completely divert their whole mentality into just focusing on Krishna. Are yaar, mujhe bhi movie jana hai. Right? What came out? Tiger 3 or Tiger 4? That new Bollywood movie came out, and so many people have attraction to watch those movies. Are yaar, Krishna consciousness mein aaya, abhi I can't go to Honest anymore because we're not supposed to eat at restaurants and this and that, or I can't go here, I can't go there, I can't use my money in casinos or this and that. I can't build big buildings and big whatever you want to build, for your own sense gratification, whether it be casinos or malls or whatever. I can't do it for myself. But since you're already earning money, whether you earn a small amount, whatever 6-figure, 7-figure amount of money you earn, the point is to use that money for Krishna. That's what Krishna is saying. That okay, if you've come into Krishna consciousness, you're not fully comfortable practicing, chanting, reading, and doing all these other things. At least you want to start doing bhakti, right? This bhakti yoga has become very popular these days. Yoga is not just doing stretching and you stretch your back and you do yoga asanas. That's a big part of bhakti, of yoga. But when you add the bhakti into the yoga is supposed to help you have a good, healthy body so that you can practice bhakti for Krishna, right? I used to do yoga before my cricket matches, I used to stretch my leg and do everything, all the gymnastics, everything. But that's not real yoga. And even there are many yogis, there are many popular celebrity yogis and people who focus so much on, taking care of the body and doing Surya Namaskar, and they teach you all these different things. And at one point, and it's still going on, the Sattvic movement, I heard on YouTube, something like that is going on, which is actually a very good start. Because by doing those things, you will eventually come to the platform of Sattvagun. We should become Sattvic. Because when we become Sattvic, to do Krishna Bhakti will become so much easier. It will become very easy. And we'll be able to understand the philosophy very properly. Because Krishna consciousness is a science. By using logic and reasoning, we can very much understand the existence of the soul, what our real identity is. And technology and science has gone so far, there's so many case studies. If one wants to deny the existence of the soul, science automatically disproves that. Science has gone so far that it will only be illogical once you read the research and the evidence. It will only be illogical to still think that there is nothing as a soul. One of my recently I've started to become close with one of my friends in school. He's a good friend of mine. And I was surprised. He was very much into astrology, and he's part of Swaminarayan Mandir, but he's very much into spirituality and he's getting into it. He was very attached specifically to his grandpa. He's very, very attached. Usne bola, yaar, Gujarati by the way. So, bahut saras aadmi cha. He's a bahut acha aadmi tha wo. He was telling me, my grandpa was such a great guy, and after he passed away, I thought to myself, nahi, he cannot stop existing. I mean, such a nice guy he was. Like, he couldn't fathom the fact that this man is no longer existing, because he meant so much to him. So he was telling me, yaar, kuch to hai. There's something out there. But it's just that many people don't know the process. They've not yet figured it out. They've not come to the proper bona fide instructions by which we can figure out the existence of the soul. So, in order to understand and in order to realize that we're not the body, we're the soul, we have to take up this process of bhakti. And in the beginning process of bhakti, those who want to take up bhakti yoga, Krishna is saying here that jo bhi aap kaam kar rahe ho, whatever work you're doing, just engage that in my service. Because then, as we know, there's akarma, vikarma, and karma. Sakarma. The good karma, bad karma, and then as Prabhupada said here in the 55th verse, it is explained how Krishna explains how to do this work and connect it to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada over here, he uses the word Krishna karma. This is all Krishna karma. And let me just read this. It'll give you a better understanding. Srila Prabhupada first quotes this verse, Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayanjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. No work should be done by any man except in relationship to Krishna. So when we are now having a relationship with Krishna, all of our work becomes bhakti. There is no question of bhakti and there's no name of Krishna. Krishna is the embodiment of bhakti, of love. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He's Rasa Vaisa. He is the storehouse of all pleasure. And bhakti means to develop a devotional relationship with Krishna. The result should be done only for him. For example, one may be engaged in business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman is in possession of thousands and thousands of dollars, and if he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. And we practically see this. I know there's so many devotees who I know who are millionaires, multi-millionaires, and they're using so much of their money for Krishna, so much. India's number one motivational speaker and business coach is Dr. Vivek Bindra. Dr. Vivek Bindra, how much money, he's so famous all over India, but if you see his work, the content of his work, he recently did a course using Bhagavad Gita principles in the business corporate world. So like this, he's attracting so many people, he's using his money, he's blocking up big arenas and big stadiums, and he's having coaching sessions for so many young youth and business aspirants in India. Another example is the grandson or great-grandson, great-grandson of Henry Ford, Alfred Ford, also known as Ambrish Prabhu, another disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Because of him, really, if it were not for him, this Temple of Vedic Planetarium would not be there. How many of you know about the Temple of Vedic Planetarium? So the Temple of Vedic Planetarium is the largest Vedic temple in the world that is currently being constructed in Mayapur, Navadvip Dham, Mayapur, which is situated 3 hours from Calcutta by drive. This TOVP was the prediction of Srila Prabhupada and all of our predecessor acharyas, all of the acharyas who came before Srila Prabhupada. It was predicted by Nityananda Prabhu, and it was also predicted by Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who, by the way, is also another example of using his material occupation for the service of Krishna. He was, for those of you who don't know Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is the father of Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. His father was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Very pure, amazing, self-realized soul. Actually, let me do one thing. Let me pull up his daily schedule. You'll be shocked. For those of you who have not seen it. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to live in Jagannath Puri, and he was a magistrate there. So he was in a very high position, and used to work with the Brits a lot, very closely. And he was so good at his profession. That the British government that time, they built train tracks all the way up to his house. So as soon as he gets out of his house, there were train tracks right there so that he could get on a train and he could immediately go straight to work. That's how important he was. I've seen this before. Yes. Many of us, since we're talking about doing our occupational duties at the same time doing Krishna consciousness, we should do our occupational duties for Krishna. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. 7:30 to 8 p.m. Or let me start in the morning. 4:30. 4:30, he would get up, get fresh, chant his Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, do his regular japa yagya, his prescribed rounds of holy name he would do. 7 o'clock, he would start writing letters to people, either related to his office or, he would be writing letters to different devotees. He would read Shastra, 7:30 to 8:30, he would read this Gaudiya literature. The literatures left by our 6 Goswamis, he would study those. Then 8:30, receive guests, people who would come to his house in the morning, and he would continue to read. 9:30 to 9:45 in the morning, he would take rest. Now why that late he would take rest suddenly, we'll see. 9:45, he gets up, takes bath, half quart milk, a couple of chapatis, some fruits. That's it, very simple. 9:55, go to court in a carriage. He'll come back 7:30 to 8 p.m. He'll take rest. 10 o'clock in the night, he'll put on a oil lamp and he'll start writing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also left very wonderful books for us to study. And from 10 p.m. all the way to 4 a.m., Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would stay awake. He wouldn't go to sleep. He wouldn't go to sleep. 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. You know, sometimes, like me, like the Ekadashi just went by, and in the Ekadashi, you're generally told, no, you should stay up the night. You should stay up the night until until it's 12 a.m. So I finished my rounds and everything, and I wanted to stay awake. You know, I wanted to stay up awake, but I didn't really know what to do. So personally, to be honest, a good amount of time just went in procrastination on my phone, and like that, I just stayed up till 12 at night. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is fully engaged in devotional service. He's always thinking about Krishna until 4 a.m. You know, he's staying up the whole Brahma Muhurta time. And 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. it says he's writing. He's writing books. He's not doing chanting or anything. He's writing books for us that he's left for us to study and to grow in Krishna consciousness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a very special person. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote one book, The Life and Precepts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the day he sent that book to a college, to a university in Canada. And the day it reached, or the day he sent, that day was the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. So you can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's organizing everything in such a nice way. That book of Bhaktivinoda Thakur going to the other side of the world is the indication that a revolution is going to start. Because everybody was like, you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Piti Viti Achayatan Agaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachara Hoibe Mora Nam, my holy name will be spread all over the world. How is this going to happen? And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent that book for, you know, whoever's the lucky one in that Canadian university to read it, that day Prabhupada was born. So you can see, you know, how this whole thing is destined, and we're all sitting here because of our predecessors acharyas. Because of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's schedule, we're all sitting here. You know, so we're very fortunate, and we can learn from Bhaktivinoda Thakur too, because he also was a grihastha. How many kids did he have? 10. He had 10 kids. Oh my God, 10 kids. Can you imagine in this day and age, 10 kids? You know, how many of us live as a joint family other than Rahul family? Right? Rahul family, don't raise your hand. Joint family. You know, like even you live with, like everyone lives in one house. I'm talking about, right? Okay, you used to. Okay. So how many hands was that? That was only like 2 or 3 hands, you know. But look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's doing so much spiritual activities. He's at the same time doing his occupational duties so nicely, and he's using that for Krishna service. Many of the Brits in India were actually attracted to Krishna consciousness and spirituality because of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What a great soul. Those Brits, you know, who treated us as slaves that time. It's unfortunate. Now Rishi Sunak has taken up charge again. But, you know, we're so grateful. We can learn from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He used his occupational duty for Krishna service. At the same time, look how much writing he's done, how much chanting he used to do. And the son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One time Srila Prabhupada somebody asked Srila Prabhupada one question. It was something related to, you know, the amount of temples he's been able to make or something like that. It's something related to Guru Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada said, you know, I'm so fallen. The point is that Srila Prabhupada said, I'm so fallen. You know, back in that day, my spiritual master, he opened 64 temples in India alone. Even Srila Prabhupada did not open 64 temples alone by himself. This is Prabhupada's humility. He did not open 64 temples in India alone. 108 all over the world, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur opened 64 in the world. And if Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in Prabhupada's place, preaching all over the world, my goodness, what would have happened? What would have happened? Prabhupada is great, and Guru, of course, in Prabhupada's humility, Prabhupada always puts Guru at a higher pedestal. You know, so Prabhupada is saying, you know, out of humility, obviously. You know, and you can see the whole parampara that's coming down. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada also, he had his own pharmacy. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur never had a professional job, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur did. He was a magistrate, and Prabhupada had his own Prayag pharmacy. And whatever money Srila Prabhupada would get, he would sustain his family, he would teach Krishna consciousness to his family, and during that time in the Gaudiya Math, many sannyasis, many senior devotees, Prabhupada would invite them and feed them, Krishna Prasad. Prabhupada would have them come over to have like house programs, Bhakti Vriksha programs. They would speak Krishna Katha. They would have they would have many devotional activities going on, many devotional programs at Srila Prabhupada's house. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada served. So there's so many examples of how, we can use our occupational deities to serve Krishna. Srila Prabhupada continues, somebody, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna, he can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for the deities as service, as is outlined in the authorized books of devotional service. This is all Krishna karma. One should not be attached to the result of his work, but the result should be offered to Krishna. One should accept as prasadam the remnants of offering to Krishna. If one constructs a very big building for Krishna and installs the deity of Krishna, one is not prohibited from living there, but it is understood that the proprietor of the building is Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. If, however, one is not able to construct a temple for Krishna, itna paisa nahi hai kisi ke paas, one can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna karma. We see Gundicha Marjan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was crying and weeping in ecstasy in so much separation of Krishna. In Jagannath Puri, there's a pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Gundicha Marjan. There's one temple in Jagannath Puri, and Mahaprabhu is cleaning that temple before Lord Jagannath's Rath during the Rath Yatra time arrives. So we see Lord himself, he's doing such small menial services. It doesn't matter if you have a small service, it doesn't matter if you contribute in a big way. My spiritual master actually, he was talking to one of my godbrothers, and that godbrother was saying that, Guru Maharaj's mood is that, it doesn't matter what service you do. Actually, the smaller the service, the more the mercy, in that sense. Because the smaller the service is, generally, we tend to be humble during those times. If you're mere pot washers, we sweep the floor, we clean the floor. If we have those type of services, then we have that humble mentality. Oh wow, big Prabhuji doing big projects, big YouTube preaching, this and that. Wow, I'm so fallen, I'm so humble. That's the proper mood to keep. And by Krishna's mercy also, we get assigned to bigger projects, because Krishna sees the potential in us to do those bigger projects, to take up bigger responsibilities, temple management, GBC, preaching work, traveling all over the world, establishing new temples, But many times, because we're Kali Yuga creatures, many times because our anarthas are there, it's Kali Yuga, we tend to get that pride. We tend to then look down upon others, now I'm senior devotee, now I don't chant and dance in kirtan. Now I don't pay so much attention to my rounds. Now I tell other people to chant their rounds. Senior devotee bang gaya na main. Now I'm such a big senior devotee. Now pehle prasad paate fir jaate darshan ke liye. So these are all different mindsets, different things that naturally comes in somebody who's been in the movement for a long time. So but it's very important to understand whatever seva we have, to have a very humble attitude. Also, I can also see this with my parents as well. Many people ask sometimes. I've heard, so I'm putting it out there. People have asked, इतना अच्छा बच्चा को कैसे bring up किया, how इसको कैसे इतना ये वो दीक्षा लिया, इतना अच्छा मृदंगा खेलता है, la. It's like for them it's like fairy tale. Wow, MahaPrem Kirtan. Oh my God, Prabhuji ki jai. It's nothing like that. I'm actually nothing special. It's just the causeless mercy of Krishna, and all credit goes to the parents. Because at the end of the day, if you have a kid, maybe you can take this instruction for your own Krishna conscious parenting. This is my own perspective. Because we're on the topic of doing material occupation for Krishna service, I'm going on this topic, that in my household, and if I challenge any one of you to come to my home, and if you don't say that there's some vibe, there's some aura in my house, that means we've done something wrong. That means we've done something wrong. If you say that there's no aura, there's no vibe in my house, what does that mean? It doesn't matter what we did. It didn't matter. This is how I was brought up. I'm not paid to say this. I'm not getting extra cake cutting cakes after this. I'm not getting a new car just because I say this. You know, nothing. Jo bhi hai aise dil se bol raha hu. I'm not getting anything in return. This is all for your benefit. As growing up, the atmosphere in my house was such that even if tomorrow myself or Abhay or one of your kids, to be frank, to be honest, suppose they're not so much vibing, connecting to Krishna consciousness so much, they decide to disconnect and they just want to try out life outside in the material world. देखते दुनिया कैसे है, सब लोग ये करते वो करते पीते हैं, सब मजा लेते हैं, मुझे भी मजा करना है, अरे ट्राई करते हैं यार, क्या पूरा टाइम हरे कृष्णा. Full respect, I'm full respect. We'll come to ISKCON temple on Diwali and Janmashtami, but I want to try out the world, you know. That's fine. After you did your duty, it's fine if the kid doesn't do Krishna consciousness. But what is that duty of the parent? The duty is to create such a strong Krishna conscious atmosphere in the home by actions that the kid watches. And naturally, because you're doing devotional service, that atmosphere in a home gets created. I would chant at one of my friend's house, and I'm struggling. And the moment I would come to my house, it's like automatically I feel like putting my hand in the bead bag and start chanting. And my rounds itself become so easier. If you go to any devotee's house, you will feel like it's Vrindavan Dham. Because naturally when you go to the Dham, you know, devotional service becomes so much easier. Is anybody back from the Kartik Yatra? Or today's the last day of Kartik. Yashoda Gopi Mataji. You know, Mataji was in Vrindavan. क्यों है तू सरस भक्ति सरस है तू बद्दू हाँ बहुत अच्छा होता है ना बहुत अच्छा था yeah and Mataji's also walked so much. She's done so much Vrindavan Parikrama by foot. And even when I went, me and Abhay, we went to Vrindavan last year, it was so much easier to do devotional service. 16 hours, it was so easy. And if you want to experience, you know, 16 rounds being easy, then you go to Vrindavan and try doing it there. It's really easy because that Shakti, because that potency is there in the Dham, because Krishna has come there, Krishna has performed his pastimes, and Krishna's devotees have also gone there, and they've also done so much powerful devotional service there. That's why there's so much Shakti, there's so much energy in the Dham. And those same instructions, when we apply in our own household, then our home also becomes like Dham, it also becomes like Vrindavan. That's why it has a big impact in the consciousness of the kid that's growing up in that house. You know, maybe, okay, mall, Black Friday, kuch lena hai, cooking ke liye, get some new pots, get some knives, everything's becoming old. We want to renovate the kitchen. We recently got a new deck because, it was crippling apart. That was a need. It was not a want. It was more of a need. It was an emergency thing. But basically, you go to your work, you get money and all these things. I've seen my parents, anything, but it doesn't have to be money, but anything that they were getting back as profit, whether it be equity, like any type of equity, it doesn't matter. Anything that they were getting back, whether it be money or connections or friend or anything, they were always connecting it to Krishna. Whether they were getting someone else's phone number, they were getting money, they were getting a car, a product, everything was connected to Krishna. Even things that we got, we would, we would keep it in front of the altar for some time so that Krishna blessed that thing. Even today, I got a couple of gifts from my parents. I immediately kept it on the altar. It's just natural for me. Wow, Prabhuji, pure devotee. Wow. Like I don't think like that. It's not about pure devotion or anything like that. It's just about habit. It's about practice, and it honestly, genuinely does start with the parents, right? My dad would work. We would be, my dad gets a certain income. All that money would be used, to get new paraphernalia for the deities. Because everybody knows I love Mridanga. If one Mridanga breaks, no questions asked. Another one, new Mridanga. It's not like paisa bachana, ye karna, wo karna. Of course, there's no financial issue or anything like that. But the point is that for Krishna, we should be willing, to spend money if possible. There's a chance to go to Mayapur. Take that chance. Take the opportunity. Okay, there's a $50,000 car versus a $30,000 car. Okay, maybe you don't need such an expensive car. Maybe you go for a lower car. Maybe you need an expensive car because it's what's, the market is such. You need such a car. You're saving gas, whatever, Tesla, you get a hybrid, whatever, So the point is that the consciousness is always in how to serve Krishna. But naturally, obviously, itna kaam kar rahe 9 to 5 jaake, are kuch to, I want to have some fun. I want to use that money for something. Because we don't have that love so much that sab kuch Krishna ke liye de sakte. We can always think of Krishna. अरे मुझे भी मूवी जाना है यार, सब फ्रेंड्स के साथ जाना है, चलो, $20 दे दो उसको काउंटर पे, मुझे भी चाहिए टिकट, let me go, let me have popcorn, let me enjoy. So that's why Krishna says, if you cannot give everything, if you cannot completely surround your whole household and all your activities around Krishna consciousness, then at least do a little bit. Or little karke, the more you do by little, soon you will see within 6 months to a year, you see your whole consciousness will have changed. Your whole consciousness will have changed. Everything material that you're doing is around Krishna. And why do I keep on bringing up this material and Krishna, material, Krishna? Because we've heard so many times, yeah, go to work and whatever you get from work, use it in Krishna service. But it's not just about, dear devotees, just, okay, I got a certain salary, I have a nice home, Bhakti Raksh kar liya, I have one Bhakti Raksh program here, I have deity installation here, that, and I'm using my money for Krishna service, which is fine. But you see, a lot of that consciousness is there in the end result. The end result, what is the end result? Okay, I have the money and I'm using it for Krishna service, sometimes here, there, here and there, here and there, that's fine. But if we try to create this consciousness, mentality, before we go into work, while we are at work, and even after we're done working, we come home, if we just take a moment to really think, Main Krishna ke liye kar raha hu, actually. Because we don't want to just get merit. It's not like, Ekadashi kar diya, and yeah, there's a lot of transcendental credit going into my transcendental bank account. Transcendental, I got 1,000 spiritual dollars into my bank account because I did Ekadashi. That is also good. That is also a process of purification. But if we really want to experience practical difference in our consciousness, immediate, effective results of purification within our consciousness, then we have to not just do things mechanically, because we tend to do things mechanically. Okay, paisa aa raha, ye kar raha hu, wo kar raha hu, Krishna bhakti bhi kar raha hu, thoda sa, I'm using my house for Krishna service. But many times that is there. How many of us go into work thinking about the paycheck you will receive at the end of the month or the week? Anyone who works, you will all think about that paycheck. I'm going to receive that paycheck end of the week, end of the month, quarterly, whatever. But do we think consciously? Are we thinking that print F, semicolon, space bar, this, am I doing this for Krishna? Of course, we have so many things going on. We may not be able to think about Krishna then. But the point is to train our mind to really constantly think about Krishna again and again and again. To really develop that understanding that what I'm doing for Krishna. While working. Because if we get our money and we're doing everything for Krishna, and yeah, we are using everything for Krishna service, but is our consciousness changing? Is our consciousness changing? Suppose I'm very greedy for money. I'm very greedy for money. I've been hosting Bhakti Raksh programs at my house. I had a deity installation too, and some sannyasis have also come and I've had dinner at my house. Or if I get, angry, or if I have this pride of having so much, and I've been doing all these devotional activities for Krishna's sake, okay. And it is devotional service, right? I'm getting money and I'm using everything for Krishna's service. But I have this issue of pride, let's say pride. I have so much pride. Okay, yeah, पिछले 10 साल के लिए, for the past 10 years, you've been using everything that you have for Krishna's service. But I don't see any change in your consciousness. So everything is being used for Krishna's service. Everything material you have is being used for Krishna's service. But what's the practical change that's going on in your consciousness? So we just have to be a little extra cautious, extra caution to really understand, to really apply this principle of Krishna karma with our material occupation. We have to try to put in some endeavor. Okay, yaar, just not like whole time, but just take some different moments. These are practical tips. Because I'm a junior in college. People have done everything. They've done everything. They've seen the whole world. Not the whole world, but they've done everything fun that people want to do by the time they are juniors in college. And I see the whole vibe. I see the atmosphere. I see the consciousness of my kids. I'm not It's too much. It's my birthday. Yeah, this, that, so many things. Of the other kids in the classroom. I see their consciousness. I see their motive for working and everything. And of course, everybody has the motive for working. But we want a change in consciousness, Baba. Yaar, consciousness mein change aana chahiye. You've been hosting programs at your house for the past 10, 20 years, but if you yourself, your consciousness has not improved, then yeah, you've gotten some transcendental credit into your spiritual account. You're getting benefit. But are you getting such immediate, powerful benefit that is actually affecting you? It's actually changing you to become more of a devotional candidate to go back to Godhead. So that's why this consciousness has to be very important. The more we put in the endeavor to actually, Of course, we can say, okay, naturally the process will change, but we also have to put some conscious endeavor and just think of Krishna more often while we're doing these things. Then, something that may not have happened in the last 3 years, you will see a change within the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And because my parents had this Krishna karma culture in my home, it affected me so much. Even if tomorrow I went out into the material world, completely drinking, doing this, doing that, God knows where I would be. If I was doing everything else, and then suddenly, I got a slap from Maya. Maya ne thappar maar diya. And I'm trying to enjoy so much, and suddenly, something goes wrong in my material life. I become completely depressed. I become completely full of anxiety, stress, and I think, "Arey yaar, maine kya kiya? Mera ladki chhod ke dusre ladka ke paas gaya, and I didn't get a promotion, and this and that, and so many problems were going on." Oh Krishna, then because of the atmosphere, because of the culture that my parents set at home, that beautiful, wonderful, sattvic atmosphere will again come to my mind. And that atmosphere, that culture that I felt in my heart, that blissful feeling, blissful vibe I felt in my heart as a kid, that will bring me back from material life and again get me started in Krishna consciousness. So that's why it's very important from your childhood to really engage everything in Krishna consciousness. If we got money, we would go to Dham, period. We would go to Dham, period. I've been to so many dhams. I know so many people who make twice, thrice as more money as what's in our family income, twice, thrice. But I've been to Vrindavan, I've been to Mayapur, I've been to Jagannath Puri. I'm not boasting here, dear devotees, or anything. I'm just saying how Krishna just arranges things. Krishna arranges things so beautifully. Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan Dham, Sri Rangam. I've been to so many places in South India, so many places in Maharashtra. If you're from Mumbai, by the way, Mahaprabhu has been to Thane. So that is also considered a dham. Mahaprabhu has also passed through Thane. Thane is also considered a dham too. I've been to Nasik, I've been to Vrindavan, Kumbhakarna, Madurai, Mangalore, Udupi Krishna. So much. Krishna arranges. If you use everything for Krishna's service, He will give you more. And that's the only thing that I've seen happening, and also many other examples. Krishna will give you more if He sees that you're using all that money, for His service. Whatever money we're using, we need equipment for the center, So many devotees are contributing money out of their own pocket for cooking also. It's not we're all paying from our own pocket. Whatever we want to cook and serve for Sunday feast, we're all paying out of all of the money out of our own pocket. So these things are very important to really keep Krishna in the center. And if you want your kids, to also have that experience, have that blissful experience of Krishna consciousness, it's important for the parents to set that culture. For themselves first, then for others. Because also, I've even seen pictures of me as a baby. I don't know if you've seen my baby pictures, but I've even seen myself as a baby. And just the setting in the background the setting in the background that those pictures were taken in. As a child, I don't even remember, I don't have memories as a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, but there was so much, everything was Krishna conscious, everything was filled with Krishna consciousness, everything. It was so blissful. While growing up, everything was so blissful. Kisika marriage, it's a devotee marriage, someone's engagement, devotee engagement. Someone's birthday, it's being celebrated in a Krishna consciousness way. We're getting money to travel, we're going to Dham. We have money, we want to build a temple, build a center, get our own kitchen, or we want to get our own kitchen to make all the devotees' cooking more convenient. Getting even all the knowledge you're getting, all the material knowledge you're using from school, using that in Krishna service. Everything is being used in Krishna service. And that has a big impact for who I am today. Because all those memories are there, that experience is there. And that is a big thing that's, keeping me in Krishna consciousness. As an 8-year-old, 11-year-old, 10-year-old, 8 to 12-year-old, time period, I would go out to the playground when Gaur Aarti is going on. I would go out and play outside with all my friends during Gaur Aarti. And Gaur Aarti would be going on. Jai Nimanita Radhe Shyam Ki. I'll just conclude with this last thing. I would just go outside and play. I'm in temple, all my friends are here, I want to go outside and play. But in front of the playground, dear devotees, there was one big vertical rectangular window. And I would always look there every 2 minutes to make sure my dad was in there knocking on the window, and there was like a good like the window was here where this wall is, and the playground is like where the parking lot is, like middle of the playground. And I honestly did have sharp eyesight. I still do have sharp eyesight. So my dad would always be there, knock on the window. I could hear his knock. No one else, only I could hear his knock on the window. He would call me and come back to Gorat. He didn't even have to say anything. I just looked at his eyebrow. Bas ho gaya, jao. My dad does this. All the devotees look at him to the Prabhu. He does this. One kya service Prabhu karna hai? See Ramchandra Prabhu's? No. That was me. But I would just look at him and okay, I understood. Then I'll play with you guys after Prashalam. I'm going into Goarati. And because of that constant push and training of going to Goarati, attend the Kirtan, then slowly, even one of my best friends, he started wearing dhoti first. And I remember the first Sunday my father told me, Beta, dhoti pen. I made such a tantrum in the home. I was like banging the back. No, I don't want to wear dhoti. No one else wears dhoti. Only this one friend of mine who I'm close with, but only he wears dhoti. And then I was the second guy to wear dhoti, and then everyone else came along, and today I was also sitting here. So somebody has to be the first, somebody has to be the second, someone has to be the third. Then like that, a whole supply chain will come. Like that, everybody will come one after another. So my point is that training has to be there to really, put Krishna consciousness into every single aspect, every single time, into everyone. I used to walk just like this out of Sunday school, right to my right, and sit on my father's lap, and Jayadeva Maharaj would be giving lecture. Hare Krishna. So yeah, please make this conscious endeavor to really put Krishna into the center of your life, in work, in direct devotional activities. Please put Krishna in the center of your life in everything that you're doing yourself, and then give that to others, especially if you have parents. I'm a son to Ramchandra Prabhu, so for parents also I'm saying, if it starts with you, then your parents will also, your kids will also, if the parents get affected, the kids will naturally get affected. If they go out for Goarati, already I see it. I was that age, I was not in Goarati. I like Shoryas and Balrams and all their ages. They're in Goarati, they understand the beat, they're playing kirtals, they're playing lumpers, everything, subkuch, they're learning. At that age, I was not in Goarati, not in that age. Or even if I was not playing instruments so much. So at such a young age, they're getting the training, but then when they grow older, they will realize how such a beautiful thing Kirtan is. Because everybody loves Kirtan, that Kirtan will keep them in Krishna consciousness. And last marketing announcement, since I'm talking about Kirtan, please come to Radhesham Mellows, December 9th. This is our annual Kirtan. We are having Kirtan straight from 2 o'clock onwards. The last Kirtan will start at 7:45. So if you're worrying about, dinner late ho jayega, we'll get prasadam late, don't worry. We've planned it in such a way where you will get your prasadam dinner on time. But please do try to take full advantage of this. It starts at 2 o'clock onwards. So obviously the tendency is, chalega yaar, aaram se jate, 4 baje jate, 5 baje jate. But we really do have a wonderful line of Kirtaniers for you. And we called it Radhesham Mellows because our main presiding deities is Radhesham, and we really want to give you that Vrindavan experience to everyone. So we really have a very wonderful line of Kirtaniers. Straight off the bat, 2 baje se, many wonderful Kirtaniers are going to be there. And this is a great way to also for all the parents to engage your kids. All parents, please bring your kids to December 9th and have them participate in Kirtan. Alright? So with that said, thank you. I'm sorry I went over time. Everything was just pushed a little late. We'll do Damodar Ashtakam now. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.